not want us to be like those Joe Bidens. The Lord does not want us to be like those Donald Trumps. The Lord does not want us to be like those Ronald Reagans. The Lord does not want us to be like those George Bushes. The Lord wants us to be the Israelites. The Lord wants us to be God's chosen people. The Lord wants us to be black. The Lord wants us to be Native American. The Lord wants us to be who He said for us to be. Are these 12 tribes right here. We're not to be nothing else, man. That's who we're supposed to be. Be like America. The Lord does not want us to be like those Joe Bidens. The Lord does not want us to be like those Donald Trumps. The Lord does not want us to be like those Ronald Reagans. The Lord does not want us to be like those George Bushes. The Lord wants us to be the Israelites. The Lord wants us to be God's chosen people. The Lord wants us to be black. The Lord wants us to be Native American. The Lord wants us to be who He said for us to be. Are these 12 tribes right here. We're not to be nothing else, man. That's who we're supposed to be. Go ahead.
Ye are of your father, the devil.
That's why we have to be careful as a people. No thanks to Martin Luther King. No thanks to our oppressor. We joined ourselves to America. We joined ourselves to our oppressor. And he is the devil the Bible speaks of, man. Like, we have to be careful as a nation of people. We have to identify, we have to be careful who we identify ourselves with, man. That's what destroys our communities. That's what destroys our cities. That's what destroys our neighborhoods. Go ahead.
Ye are of your father, the devil.
And that's referring to our oppressor. Go ahead.
And the lust of your father ye will do.
And the lust of your father ye will do. Because our oppressor is a filthy, disgusting, lustful bastard. I want you to understand that. Our oppressor is disgusting. Those Joe Bidens, those Donald Trumps, they are absolutely disgusting. They're absolutely lustful. They are the child molesters. They are the pedophiles. They are the ones who are homosexuals. They are the ones that are lesbians. That's why we have to be careful who we join ourselves to. That's why we have to be careful who we identify with, you understand? The Lord doesn't want us to be those lesbians. The Lord does not want us to be those homosexuals. The Lord does not want us to be American. The Lord does not want us to be of our oppressor. That's why the Lord said what?
The lust of your father ye will do.
Because if you join yourself to America, if you join yourself to the oppressor, you're going to follow after the lust of your oppressor. Our oppressor is lustful, you understand? And I mean a filthy, disgusting, evil lust, you understand? Like, he loves children sexually by nature. That's who he is by nature. By nature, our oppressor, if he's a man, he loves another man. He sexually desires another man when he's a man. They practice that in the Greco Empire. They practice homosexuality and lesbianism in the Roman Empire. They practice pedophilia and molesting children in the Roman Empire. That's why there's nothing but child molestation in the Catholic Church, in the Christian Church, you understand? Because that comes from Rome. That comes from our oppressor. That comes from your Bidens. That comes from your Reagans. That comes from your Trumps. That comes from your Bushes. That comes from your Clintons. That's where that culture comes from. The Lord said what?
The lust of your father ye will do.
That's why it's important to not identify with America. That's why it's important to not be a Catholic. That's why it's important to not be a Christian. Because you're going to end up doing the lust that your oppressor does. You're going to end up keeping his culture and his traditions and his way of life. That is dangerous. You understand? That puts blacks and Latinos and Native Americans in great danger. And the Lord wants us to realize that we are in danger by identifying with America. Our children are suffering. You know those little girls on the Native Indian reservations? Real quick. You understand those little girls within the black community, throughout the Latino community, throughout those reservations are being abducted. They're being kidnapped with no one to protect them, no one to keep them safe. You understand? That's because we joined ourselves to America. That's because we are the Catholics now. Because we are the Christians now, like we were never supposed to be. That's why the Lord said for us to not join ourselves to them, man. Those men are tyrants, you understand? Our oppressor is vile and tyrant, and they are disgusting. They're the ones abducting our little girls. They're the ones that are taking our little children, harvesting their organs, and then we end up finding them dead, not alive, unalive somewhere in the woods, in the mountains, somewhere in the canyons, man.
Right.
That's why the Lord said for us to unidentify ourselves with America.
Right.
Unidentify yourself with the Bidens, with the Trumps, with the Clintons, with the Bushes.
Right.
Don't be like those Reagans. Don't be like those JFKs. Don't be like those George Washingtons.
Right.
Don't be like those Thomas Jeffersons. The Lord wants us to realize this. Go ahead.
Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do.
That lust is that murder and thieving, man. Like our oppressor, that lust our oppressor loves to steal. They desire to steal. They desire to murder, steal, and kill, to unalive everyone in their sight. That's our oppressor's culture. That's our oppressor's customs.
Right.
They love to be murderers. They love to unalive for no reason at all, because that is our oppressor. That's just the way they are. Go ahead.
Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning.
He was a what?
A murderer.
Our oppressor was a what?
A murderer.
Biden was a what?
A murderer.
Thomas Jefferson was a what?
A murderer.
George Bush was a what?
A murderer.
Ronald Reagan was a what?
A murderer.
Schylers were a what?
A murderer.
Timothy's were a what?
A murderer.
Luke's were a what?
A murderer.
Jonathans were a what?
A murderer.
Our oppressor was a murderer, you understand? That's all they did. That's all they loved to do. How we cannot be a family with each other. The Lord warned us day in and day out throughout these scriptures why our oppressor, why people like Joe Biden and Ronald Reagan and your Bushes and your Clintons, why we can't be together, why we can't be a family, why he can't be a brother. You understand? Like there's a reason behind it all. Give me the brother against our brother, violence against our brother, man. It should be down there in verse somewhere in verse 8, man. Like the Lord wants us to realize something. Go ahead.
This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 8. Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 10. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob.
Like this is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 10, man. Actually, skip me up to verse 9. Let's get verse 9 real quick.
And thy mighty men, O Teman.
It said, Teman.
O Teman.
Like anybody know who Teman is? Like if you are not in the truth, if you're not in the ISUPK, you're not going to know what these nations are and who these nations are. Because the Christian church isn't going to teach you this. The Teman is the Germans. That's who Teman is in the Bible. Teman, like a Teman. Like Teman is the Germans in the Bible. You understand? That's the nation of Germany. The Lord is talking about our oppressor. The Lord is talking about the Germans right now. Our oppressor. That's where your Joe Bidens come from. Your Reagans come from. Our oppressor is talking about Edom. That's who our oppressor is in the Bible. Go ahead.
And thy mighty men, O Teman,
Go ahead.
shall be dismayed.
Shall be what?
Shall be dismayed.
Go ahead.
To the end that everyone of the mount of Esau.
The mount of who?
Of Esau.
Like they are going to be dismayed, man. Because the Lord is going to make them realize the Lord is going to make our oppressor pay for what they've done, what they have done to our people, man. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is going to pay. The Lord is going to make them pay for it, man.
The mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
Start from dismay.
Shall be dismayed.
Like the Lord is going to greatly grieve our oppressor. It's going to make him sad, you understand? Because of what he has done to our people, man. The Lord is going to make our oppressor pay. Go ahead.
To the end.
Like that's why they don't want critical race theory in the schools. That's why they're trying to get rid of slavery. They're trying to get rid of the teaching of slavery. That it never happened. That's why they're trying, it's been, like you said, right, slavery been gone. But they're trying to get rid of the records of it. Our oppressors trying to wipe out history.
Right.
You understand? That's why that whole movement of knocking down these signs and these statues were absolutely horrible.
Right.
Like they're trying to rewrite history. Go ahead.
To the
Like
end.
that's why the Lord said, remember the days of old. Like the priest and Captain Osh was just bringing out something heavy. That's why the Lord said, remember the days of old. You understand? And ask your fathers, and he will tell thee.
Right.
Like that's what our Lord taught us. Right. To ask the fathers of your people, and they will tell thee, and they will teach thee. Like we're going to teach our children the slavery. Right. We're going to teach that our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
You understand? Christians ain't going to do that. You understand? Right. We're going to teach our people this, man.
Right.
Go ahead.
To the end that everyone of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter.
By what?
By slaughter.
By what?
By slaughter.
Like this is what's going to happen to our oppressor. Like this is what our oppressor is going to do, man. You understand? Our oppressor is going, the Lord is going to take our oppressor by slaughter. You know why? Because that's what they did to us. That's what our oppressor did to us. Can I?
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob.
Said what?
For thy violence.
Thy what?
Thy violence.
The murder.
Violence.
The rape.
Violence.
The molestation.
Violence.
The lynching.
Violence.
The prison.
Violence.
The mass incarceration.
Violence.
The hanging on trees.
Violence.
The Tuskegee program.
Violence.
Like the violence against our brother Jacob, man. Like this is why we can't be brothers. Like the Lord wants us to realize why Esau and why Jacob cannot be brothers. It's because of his violence. It's because of his murder. Because a brother wouldn't murder each other. A brother wouldn't push coke and crack into your neighborhood. A brother wouldn't molest your children. A brother wouldn't mass incarcerate you.
Right.
A brother wouldn't lynch you. A brother wouldn't rob from you, steal from you. A brother wouldn't sell you the dope and the crack. But that's what Esau did. That's what our oppressor did. That's what the Jeffersons did. That's what the JFKs did. That's what the Nixons did.
Right.
That's what the Reagans did.
Right.
That's what the Clintons did.
That's right.
That's what the Bushes did.
Right.
They sold us the crack and the coke. They pushed all of the pedophiles and all of the rapists into our neighborhoods, man.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, Joe Biden is the reason why there's a bunch of Arab child molesters and pedophiles running rampant in the black community now.
That's right.
Because that's who they are. They cannot be our brother. You understand?
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
Read it one more time.
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame.
Shame what?
Shame.
What?
Shame.
Shame. Go ahead.
Shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
Salakia. Read that from the top.
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee.
Because the shame is going to cover thee, man. Like that shame that Esau has is going to cover him. You understand? He's going to realize that he is the oppressor. You understand? Go ahead.
And thou shalt be cut off forever.
And our oppressor is going to be cut off forever. There's going to come a time that you're not going to see a white man on this earth again. And that's going to be glorious. You understand? With that being said, Shalom Richmond with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana, and we're not affiliated with any other Israelite group nor any other Christian organization.